Who makes Jaws look like a pussy little bitch? Why, it's Orca, the killer whale. Yes, today on the Year of Vlogging Dangerously, day 123, we are going to indulge in our second movie for Movie May, and that is, as I said, Orca, the killer whale. And this movie is, well, it's fucking nuts. It's amazing the wealth of talent that went into this movie. That is, it's mind-boggling for just how crappy, I guess it could be. It's not that it's crappy. It's not crappy at all. It's, by 1977 standards, it's actually a fantastically put together film. But what it suffers from is it suffers from post-Jaws syndrome. And I think that's unfair. I think it's unfair because really, I'd be more afraid of Orca the killer whale than I would of Jaws any day. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, let's do a little bit of digging deeper as to who is behind this movie, because it startles me. It's not that it startles me, but it surprised me. The names behind this movie, the big bang names that came behind what was ultimately actually a fairly big budget movie for its time. Now, first of all, there are two names associated with this movie that surprised me. The first one is Luciano Vincenzino, and the second is, and I'm going to, Ennio Morricone. These two names, for fans of spaghetti westerns, are very important, and for fans of Clint Eastwood movies, are very, very important. And they are the two minds, the writer and the composer, that brought together Sergio Leone's Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and the other associated films in the trilogy. It's amazing to me that they go from creating one of these definitive westerns to writing and scoring a movie about a killer whale that's murdering the shit out of people. Fuck yeah. I love it. I just can't get enough of it. I love it absolutely and completely and thoroughly love it. The movie starred Richard Harris, and pretty much it starred him and a whale. Richard Harris and a whale. Richard Harris plays Captain Nolan, a man who, through basically stupid intentions, decides to try and get wealthy by capturing a whale after he witnesses it a killer whale beat the living piss out of a shark. And by beat the living piss out of a shark, I mean it flipped it into the sky and made it do a cartwheel and then ripped it in half. It was bloody epic. It's one of those moments where you go, what? So after watching this unmitigated savagery on behalf of the killer whale, he decides it's a good thing to hunt one. And, you know, he just wants to tranquilize it. He doesn't want to kill it. He doesn't want to hurt it too bad. No. What he wants to do is capture one because it would be major bucks to an aquarium. Ching! That's a smart idea. Now, this is where it becomes a really weird revenge movie. Because it's not just, you know, a man versus killer beast. It's man versus killer beast with a reason to fuck with man movie. While trying to capture the whale, he accidentally, well, he nicks its dorsal fin and then captures its pregnant mate. And bad things happen to that mate. Very, very bad things. And then very, very bad things don't only happen to the captain, but they happen to the captain's crew. They happen to they happen to an entire town. They happen to everybody the whale decides is associated with this guy until he decides to smack down with the whale. It's ridiculously ludicrous. Now, there are two featured people in this movie that you may know of from other things, other than the fact that it's got a fantastic writer behind it and a fantastic composer. The director wasn't really of note other than the fact that he is the man who directed Logan's Run, which is another movie I may actually be indulging it in for Movie May, because I've never actually seen it, but I own it. Or I've seen it, but it's been so long I don't remember it, and I own it. So, other than the behind-the-scenes people, it was, there are two names, Bo Derek, in a leg-chomping good time, And Will Sampson, who played the chief in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yes. They're the two big names that come into the movie otherwise. So there's some people to look out for. But really, with this, the craziness is just abound. There is a lot of educational stuff about whales in this, or so it seems to be. But really, it's all about the destruction, the mass mayhem, the gore. The whale is not only adept at demolishing houses and trashing boats, but apparently is a motherfucking arsonist as well. And wow, what an arsonist it is. Orca the Killer Whale is fantastic for just being an over-the-top, ridiculous, crazy movie with a lot of little moralistics put over it. It is like, if it was Orca versus Jaws, I'm sorry, Jaws, you would be going home in a doggy bag. Or a whaley bag, as it were. And it wasn't just a Jaws ripoff. Yes, maybe the intention was to make something that was going to cash in on Jaws. But it has a lot of apparently fairly deep layers to it that it's just crazy. And let's leave it at that, okay? I am going to pass the fuck out as soon as I get this thing rendering. So, I have, as usual, been the Serial Killer. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or death threats, you know where to put them below. And I want to hear what you think about this movie. If you remember it, if you have seen it, if you've never seen it, if you want to see it now, tell me. Put it in the comment section below. And I will see you tomorrow with another fantastic gem for Movie May.